One of the things that we've discussed numerous times with you in the past is men's inability to cook, yet they have an appetite.
So men should have the ability to cook.
I feel strongly that if you are a human being and you can eat, check it, and swallow, you should also cook, because you cannot eat grass. You are not a cow. And expecting a whole other human being who's just as human as you are, just because they bear breasts and hips, to fix what you will eat continually is retardedness. Men must learn how to cook.
But remember, we're in the Af to the Rika. Yeah? Africa, you guys. Yeah?
No.
So, you guys, rolls, man.
No.
Rolls.
I have a friend who I think can't even boil water. In fact, he frowns upon the idea that he thinks he'll get married so that the woman cooks.
Like, that's one of his goals.
Yes, like the woman does not come, as Chimamanda likes to famously quote, she doesn't come with an inscription of how to do womanly things on her vagina. She learns these things. Women learn, just like you should learn, to change the baby's
So at what point do they learn? Do they learn at home, or do they learn after
that shouldn't be so much. They should ask those chicks who are doing it.
No, but I remember my mom, for instance, training my sisters heavily on how to cook, blah, 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 at home.
Yes.
So now when they got married, they were quite chap. They were not learning anything.
But now, supposing your wife who was trained by the mother travels for work, you will starve until she comes back.
No. I actually agree with you that but you know, many men say that it should be a choice. Maybe you just want her to come and cook so that you feel the love.
No,
you get what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not demanding. It depends from couple to couple.
Because I tell you what the issue would be. The issue would be it's a must. So she walks into the house, then she's like, "Ujapika?" You know, you don't think that's strange?
Again, I'll say it's one couple to another. Or like, you know my story. When I was growing up, my mother was very particular. What your mother did, my mother did in reverse. I'm the firstborn in a family of 5. I have 4 sisters, as you know. And my mother would make me knead dough and kanda chapati and roll it. And woe unto me if it was not circular. She needed it to be circular. All this while, my sisters were watching TV. Not because they can't kanda and knead dough and roll, but my mother made it deliberately that I should learn.
But you know that's a difference. That's a uniqueness. Do you know that?
Why is it a uniqueness?
Not all guys are taught. Me, I was not taught those things.
It's a shame you want, but can you learn them?
But I'm telling you that you're one of the few.
No,
out of the millions of the men in
that
Kenya.
is true. The problem I have with men, and it's a big problem, I see it all the time, that you can eat but you can't cook. And then, as if that is not enough, instead of stopping and saying, okay, fine, I was unfortunate, I wasn't trained. Why can't you train yourself? Say, okay, babe, thank you so much that you are a good cook. Can you show me how to make rice?
Like me.
But sitting down and expecting that she should be cooking as you are eating, cheki, hakuna chakula kwa hii nyumba. Sasa nalala ja. As you are goat, you guys.
Yeah, that's funny.
You're not a goat that you should be shown. Even goats go and eat grass by themselves. But if goats needed stewed beef.
My only problem is now when it becomes a law. You get? It should be an option, don't you think?
Like when the woman says you cook for her.
Yeah, as in now it becomes that where bana? Uko wapi? You've not cooked.
But why do
what were you doing? You know
why do men subject women to that? See, men all the time, I feel like your argument, much as you're trying to slide in some sense, there are enough men today who call their chicks and ask them where they are, kwani haupiki. Umekuja kwa nyumba wewe na hiyo tumbo yako, si ndio? Your huge belly, you come home for one reason or the other, you left work.
But listen, man.
No, wait. You've come home for one reason or the other, you came home at 4:15. So, your wife has been called by the boss, okay, to type some emails because of a random conference that has come up at the coast. So she texts you in kind and say, I'm sorry I'm running late. Nitakuja baadaye. As a good husband, shouldn't you cut things?
I think you should. I'm of the school of thought that you should cut.
But men cause.
But how many meetings do you have in a week?
But how many?
Like, do you have a meeting Monday, Tuesday?
If we tweak
and then after the meeting you come and then demand. Cheki where? Wapi ugali bana.
But Emmanuel, if say you work from the house, remember we've had this conversation about men leaving the house and some working in the house. If you work in the house and your wife works say in Kitengela, and you guys live in Riara because your kids go to Riara school, sindio? But often because of our work and traffic, she comes home at around 9ish. What is wrong with you who works in the house cooking every day? What is the problem?
But you know that it's a societal, like your friends would really wonder. I'm just saying, I'm just describing how it is.
No, my point is,
like
the day you divorce yourself
your
from
friends
what
would
your
really
friend
call you. Bado unapika. Aye.
The day you divorce yourself.
In fact, you're the same man who was saying here, the way you should leave the dicks.
Yes, you work. I've given you a scenario. You work from the house. So, say you are in advertising or you do consultancy and you have a home office. Your wife has to go to the airport. She works at the airport. So, and sometimes because of her shifts, many nights in a week she comes home late. What is wrong with you as a man cooking every day? And why is it right for the woman to cook
personally,
every day?
using my own common sense, I'd cook.
Yes.
But in this society that we are living in right now, most guys would take, after a while, after a couple of days of cooking, they'd start saying, hey, bana, kwani, maybe they should employ somebody to know.
No, I tell you what the problem is. I think a lot as men, we like to lean so much towards what other men think of us. We get
it's not other men, it's an African,
it's
our culture.
No, we get our perceptions of who we are from other people, especially other men. So that if another man said, mwanamke si unagonga kidogo, then you start gonga in your wife because hata Joffrey alipiga nani yake mdomo. Cheki alikuwa anamuongelesha bana, alimwekea coffee, unajua siku hizi haongei. Then you start attempting that with your wife. I think if we are being honest and we self-interrogate, everything that makes a woman is just her composition. You know, her breasts are for feeding the baby, her hips are for nurturing, and so on and so forth. What makes you a man is just also your composition. But our differences does not make one person subservient and someone else superior.
But who said cooking is making you subservient?
We've had this conversation time and time again where men think mwanamke anafaa ingie apike.
No, that would
even when it does not make sense. Like I've given you a scenario, she works for. So you want her to resign from her work to come?
Yeah, that would be stupid.
I love the thing I have two of my friends I respect dearly. Two of them both wash their babies. In fact, one of my friends, Ogembo, leaves town hurriedly. He says, yo, but I have to wash the child because my wife is held up with meetings these next 2 weeks. So let's have the coffee at Akaraka, I go. The child normally is washed by 7:30. That's their agreement as a family. So when the wife is busy, Ogembo rushes home and washes the child. It never reduces the length of his anything. He does not become less of a man. But there are many men, and I'm sure you've met them, who would rather break their necks than dash home to wash the baby.
I remember I was dating this lady who was from a certain tribe. And she was telling me that in the tribe, the boys, her brothers never used to even take the plates to the kitchen. The dad would tell him, "Hey, unafanya nini? Rudisha hiyo sahani. We, kuja uchukue sahani." Yeah.
That's terrible.
So I think some of these things are inherited.
They are, but as I said, I think.
But that doesn't mean they are right.
The reason we have these conversations is to provoke thought and to change perceptions and perspectives.
Even washing dishes.
Yes.
Like guys would rather drop dead than wash a dish.
There's nothing feminine about cooking. It's a human survival tactic. For you to be alive, you need to eat.
But the question, another question would be: should a woman cook, like in the digs? As in, would it be a grounds to kosana with a chick that who you are easy?
Well, like I said in the beginning, if you're a human being who survives on food, I have a big problem with women who say they cannot cook. I have a big problem with that. Not that you cook for me, I'm self-sufficient. I've just told you the story about how my mother made me cook. But if you can't cook and you're refusing to learn, you see there is I cannot. For instance, there are people who are dyslexic. They can't read properly and it's a condition. Then there are people who cannot read. The problem is not that you can't read. The problem is that you're refusing to learn how to read. Likewise, because you need to read, you guys. You need to understand. The headline saying, Leo umoja tu inachomwa. So you can't read, so you just pass smiling at the paper saying. and your digs will be chomot because you live in Umoja too. So the purposes of learning and unlearning some of these things is important because we divorce ourselves from the held ideals that we grew up with that were describing what a man is and what a man is not, or what a woman is and what a there are societies that practice female genital mutilation. That you've been doing it for 200 years doesn't make it right. I mean, biology goes endlessly describing why it's bad for the female. So that's the same conversation. So you can't say it's our society. We are Samburu.
Yeah, you can't blame it on the society.
You cannot do that. And then, there are other traditions that have been accused of sleeping with the dead people.
Would you like? How long till you give your wife to learn?
Before how long until my give? As long.
Would you give her a period, or you'd maybe just?
No.
Because I many times you've told me, hey, this person was there. She can't cook. Like you meet someone here and there and say, hey.
I feel pity for her.
So is that like your Africanness talking? When
No. That is just it isn't my Africanness talking. It's the same way if I was living with you, if you were bachelors together, and then I cook for you all the time. That would not be acceptable. See, I'd be like, hey, bana, boss, jifunze kupika mayai. You can't call me. Can you call me? Hey, you guys. So we have some matumbo. You told me to chomoa it and defrost it, so you fry. You understand?
You know, I've never seen my dad cook.
But he lived in his time. He was a child of his time. Now we live in a different time. Men back then didn't believe, for one reason or the other, to support the woman. You know, the man was supposed to go hunt, bring the hunting in the house. Women were home keepers.
So if the woman is the one hunting, you become the homekeeper?
No, it doesn't. I don't mean it like that. Like, roles have really changed. Like,
I think the roles are no longer clear.
And I understand that the man in the 21st century is completely confused. He doesn't know his place, and that's
the African man.
Even the Caucasian man, even the Western man. No, even the Western man. But then now, women not only come onto the table, they come with the table. Okay?
Yeah.
So, in part, for that reason alone, then we have to quickly adjust. Yes, there's a difference between advancement and progress. We oftentimes like to mistake the two. That because we progressed into women working, and the money they are not allowed to work, now it doesn't also necessarily mean that it's advancement, you know.
I have a friend who actually got rid of his woman because she couldn't cook. They were dating, yeah.
Can he
cook? Let's pick. No, let's pick.
Can he cook?
So he was like, I think he can, but...
Yeah. Well, I think getting greedy is also weird because you're not dating her skills. Yeah. We are many, like, can a man build a house? Like, this is a beautiful structure. I can't for the life of me drill a stone. I'll kill my thumb. I'm not equipped to drill a stone on the wall. It's not my training, you know. So women can come and say, I need you to build this house, the entire house, so that I know you're a real man. If you can't do that,
like there's more to a human being
than
frying
an egg. But is it while your wife is say taking care of your child, or maybe she's tired, you guys, you really want to fix a meal that is not burnt.
Yeah, true.
And even for your own self, like before you married your wife, how are you surviving? I'm sure maybe you moved out. If you're like me, I moved out of my mother's house at a very young age. By 18, 19 now, I never went back home.
Actually, my wife taught me how to cook.
All right. Yeah. See, so yeah.
And the amazing thing is, she prefers my meals to
absolutely.
To hers.
I cook perfectly well. I can bake. I can do everything in the kitchen, but it doesn't take anything away from my manhood. Likewise, I don't want a woman who cannot cook. You know, she should learn. I was watching something and Beyonce was smiling from ear to ear about her inability to cook. She said, hey, I cannot cook. And I was like, aye, but you can eat so you get energy to gyrate. So maybe you should also learn how to cook. Yeah. Even if you can afford a chef, unless you can afford a chef and say, we have a chef in the thing. But also there's a beauty of cooking is also an expression of love. I think it's one way you can express love to your partner, male and female alike. In fact, some older man was telling me that from the taste of his wife's food, you could always tell if they have a problem, which I found to be quite fascinating.
There's once I had some almost raw ugali at my place.
Yeah.
I mean, things were thick.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes. So he said to me that I can test if we are having problems or where we are in our relationship from our cooking. I said, that's wonderful. So I would like also to be able to treat my partner and wife with that ability. So yes, men and women indeed should learn how to cook, both of them.